Welcome back to another one of Mr. Bursten's supplemental videos. Today we are going to be going over the concepts of while loops, and then we're going to be going over some extra functions that we have with lists. So up to now, by the way, we have been working with for loops. For loops are definite. For loops will run for a certain amount of time, but then eventually they will stop running. A while loop is different, right? A while loop can run indefinitely. It can run infinitely. So let's take a look at what that might look like. Okay, so I'm going to set myself up a very simple variable, a very simple situation here. We're actually going to say x equals 1. So we have a variable, it's called x. We have it assigned to the value of 1. And I'm going to say while x is less than 5, then I want something to run. Okay, so I say while x is less than 5, I have something run down here. I'm going to print out hello, and maybe I'll say x is less than 5. Okay. Then, right beneath this, right? Okay, so let's actually stop here for a moment, right? I'm saying, right? It's like any other statement that you might make. Maybe, to relate it a little bit to school, your teacher might tell you, while there is a test going on, please remain quiet, right? So there's a condition there, right? If someone is taking the test, then I need to stay quiet, okay? Or rather, while someone is taking the test, then I need to stay quiet. Here I'm giving a similar situation. While x is less than 5, run this program. Now, some of you may have already noticed, if I run this right now, we're going to have a big old problem because x is never, ever, ever going to be it's never going to change. It's never going to be more than 5. So this loop will run indefinitely. And I don't really want that, right? So what I can do is I can use my keyboard interrupt, which is Control and C at the same time while I'm selected on this screen. But you can see that this ran many, 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 many times, right? Like so many times. And it will never stop running unless I change this code around a little bit. So something that I can do is I can say x equals x plus 1, and then what we will find is our code only runs 4 times, right? We started at 1, we printed this out, we added 1 to it, okay? It's now 2, then 3, then 4. Then when we hit 5, right? We hit 5, Python will come back up to the top and it says, well, is 5 less than 5? No, it's not, right? 5 is not less than 5. All right, moving a little bit on from there. What we've been working with right now, right, is a bunch of different games. And we've been working on how to work with those games. So one of the big things that I'm going to talk about, um, that I did talk about during today's lesson, is something like e-health. And maybe we'll set that equal to 10, and we'll say that p-health is also, we'll say that it's equal to 12 there. All right. And this is a very simple example, but I can make my while loop complicated, right? I can say while, and I'm going to say eHealth is greater than 0, and pHealth is greater than 0, then I want the following code to run. And we're going to make this super duper simple. We're going to say print player health is currently str, and we'll use pHealth. And then we'll do another plus and quotes, period, and then we'll do enemy health is, and then str and e-health. There we go, okay? So there we have it, p-health and e-health, and we're telling the user how much health each party has, right? The enemy and the player. Again, I'm going to make this super duper simple. I'm going to say e-health, so the enemy's health equals e-health minus 1. And then I'm going to do pHealth equals pHealth minus 1. So there we have that. All right, so we have print player health, strp health, and then there we have it. So we are going to have each of those subtracted by 1. And then from here, what we're going to work with is we are going to say, right, well, actually, I don't really need to say anything else. we have an and statement here. We're saying as long as the enemy's health is above 0 and as long as the player's health is above 0, keep running this program. Now we know because I gave the player 2 more health that we're going to run into that first situation first, where the enemy's health will drop to 0. So I'm going to say after all of this, if P health is greater than 0, then I'm going to print you won. Woo! Player 1. All right. Otherwise, right, there's only one other option. That is that the enemy has more health. We would print out you lose. Unfortunate. All right. But let's take a look. Let's save. Let's run. Let's see what happens, right? And so our program rapidly goes through everything, right? Player health, player health, enemy health, da 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 da, da boom, boom, boom. We go down to 1, and then since the enemy's health drops to 0, we don't actually see it print out the next statement, right? We don't see it say, oh, the player's health or the enemy's health dropped to 0. It just says you won. Woo! And I can slow this down, of course, if I just put an input command in, right? So what that will do is it will wait for me to tap enter every single time, and it will put a space in too until it gets done. That's really all we have to do with while loops. That's really a lot of what I covered today. This is really the bulk of the information that I want. While loops run until we meet a certain condition, and if you don't put a certain condition down, then your loop will run forever. I'm going to get rid of all of this. I don't want it anymore, okay? So what we're going to take a look at now is the list that I was talking about. So I'm going to start out with my list, and I'm going to say that this list has bandage, and it has a health potion, and it's going to have another bandage, and it's going to also have, oh, what else? I can do a wineskin full of water. There we go. Okay. So I have a list here. It's clearly the inventory of our player, but it's a list, right, at the end of the day. Up to now, we have been dealing with these lists like on their own. So they are just lists. We made them, and then we pull information from them. What I want to start being able to do is manipulate those lists, is to be able to say in the middle of our code, I want to be able to add things to my list, and I want to be able to remove things from my list. And here are our 2 commands in order to do so. Let's talk about the first one first. So this is append, okay? Now, here's what this looks like. We're going to do my list, and I really should not capitalize that. There we go. So our first one here is append. I'm going to do my list append, and then we'll say that I want to append on another bandage, okay? So append is just another way of saying add on, and the way that append works is whatever is in these parentheses, doesn't have to be a string, by the way, it could be a number. But whatever is in these parentheses will be added to the end of my list. So it will be added after wineskin full of water. And we can verify this by printing out my list and see what the contents are. Okay, so I'm going to save, I'm going to run. Bandage, health potion, bandage, wineskin full of water. And then there we go. We have another bandage, right? So I added it on. Append really is that simple. If you want to, I will say, if you want to change an item in your list, if you have for some reason like, I don't want item number 2 or like item number 3 or the third item or index number 2 to be bandage anymore, you could say something like my list 2, right? Because this is in the index 2 slot, that's at 0. I could say my list 2 is equal to, and I'll change it to another health potion. Okay? And what you will see is when I run this again, bandage, health potion, wineskin full of water, bandage. So that number 2 item, right, got changed to health potion. That is the append function. There's really not a lot to it. The one that has a little bit more going on is called our remove function. You may have guessed what this does, right? It removes something. So when I say remove, and we can see our little tooltip popped up, remove first occurrence of value. This is an important note, okay? When we remove something, if I say, for instance, that I want to remove one of my health potions, okay? It is not going to remove both of them. It's not going to remove a random one. It's going to look through the list. It's going to say, is number 0, is index 0 a health potion? No, it is not. Let's move to number 2. Is number 1, is number 1 a health potion? Yes, it is. Remove it, and my job is done. Okay, so I'm going to say remove health potion. Okay, and then I'm going to print back out my list again. Okay, and so we'll see that change in. Oh, hold on. Whoops, didn't mean to post space there. There we go. And there we have it. Take a look. That health potion got taken out. Now I can do this again, right? And if I do this a second time, it's going to remove the other health potion. There we go. Very important note, if you attempt to remove something that is not there, so a third health potion is not there, right? We added on one here. There was one already in the list. If I attempt to do this, it will throw an error out at me. It says X not in list. Says that there is no health potion in the list, right? X could be anything. I could have also put down, if I got rid of these two lines and if I said I want to remove 100, okay? Same thing. X not in list. There's the number 100 is not there. If I said, right, if I said up here, X2 equals 100, well, there we have it, right? It was here, it's now gone. Those are really all the commands that we went over today. If you have any questions, please reach out to me via email. I'm happy to answer them. Please send me your code when you reach out to me. That way I can help you best that I can, all right? And otherwise, I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you in class. Have a good day.